The term old money refers to inherited wealth from well-established upper-class families, gentry patriciates or individuals' families, or lines of descent who have inherited fortune. The word often refers to a social class of the wealthy who have managed to preserve their riches over several generations, and it frequently refers to individuals who are thought to be part of the de facto aristocracy in cultures where there has never been a formally recognized aristocratic class, such as the United States. Since assets may be passed down across generations, ensuring that a family's kids will have a stable financial future, they serve as a key aspect of social stratification. Old money families protect themselves from social mobility by bridging income gaps with acquired assets or savings. Old money refers to upper-class individuals whose riches sets them apart from the lower social classes. Anthropologist W. Lloyd Warner claims that the upper and lower upper classes existed in the United States throughout the 1930s. The lower upper class consisted of people who did not often originate from wealthy families and who made their money through business investments rather than through inheritance. Examples include Andrew Carnegie, whose father was a Scottish weaver, and John D. Rockefeller, whose father ran a ferry in New York Harbor. Other examples include Henry Flagler, whose father was a Presbyterian pastor, and Cornelius Vanderbilt, whose father ran a ferry in New York Harbor. The upper class was family that were considered as quasi-aristocratic in high society, in contrast to the nouveau riche, whose wealth was obtained in their own generation. These families have a long history of wealth and influence in American politics. Many times their rise to fame began before the American Revolution, 1765-1783, when their forefathers amassed fortunes as merchants, slave dealers, ship owners or fur traders, or as members of the affluent planter class. The wealth of these families was frequently derived from enormous areas of land that had been awarded to their forefathers by the Crown or obtained by headright during the colonial era, particularly in Virginia, Maryland, and the Carolinas. For more than 300 years, these planter class families, also referred to as the American gentry, were frequently tied to one another through intermarriage. Even though the nouveau riche were wealthier, the upper class was regarded as having more prestige during the beginning of the 20th century. While old money was more traditional throughout the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the nouveau riche flaunted their fortune by constructing Gilded Age homes that resembled the palaces of European monarchy. Old money families in America sometimes identify with several mainline Protestant groups. The majority of them are Presbyterians and Episcopalians. The Virginian Byrd family is one of several wealthy families. They are descended from William Burdock, who on October 27, 1673, was granted a gift of 1,200 acres, 4.9 square kilometers, which would subsequently become the location of Richmond, Virginia. The land was passed down to Byrd's son, William Byrd II of Westover Plantation, an American planter and writer from Charles City County in early Virginia. He established Richmond and increased his holdings to about 179,000 acres, 720 square kilometers. Although much of the family's wealth was squandered during the 18th century by William Byrd III through gambling and bad investments, descendant Richard Evelyn Byrd Sr. became wealthy as an apple grower in the Shenandoah Valley and publisher of the Winchester Star newspaper. He was elected to the Virginia House of Delegates in 1906 and served as Speaker from 1908 to 1914. His son, Harry F. Byrd, was elected the 50th governor of Virginia in 1925 and later served in the U.S. Senate until his retirement in 1965. Byrd controlled a democratic political machine known as the Byrd Organization that dominated Virginia politics for most of the 20th century. Byrd was succeeded in the U.S. Senate by his son, Harry F. Byrd, Jr., who served until 1981. The family also produced early Ohio political leader and jurist Charles Willing Byrd and polar explorer Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd. The Carter family of Virginia is descended from Robert King Carter of Lancaster County, who was a planter, businessman, and colonist in Virginia. He became one of the wealthiest men in the colonies, accumulating over 300,000 acres of land. As president of the Governor's Council of the Virginia colony, he served as acting governor from 1726 to 1727 after the death of Governor Hugh Drysdale. He earned the moniker King due to his great wealth, political power, and autocratic business methods. The Lindsay family traces its ancestry back to Robert Lindsay, a Scot who arrived in the English colony of Virginia during the 1660s. Upon his arrival, Robert Lindsay quickly became part of the burgeoning colonial society, and a few years later, he married Susanna Opie and Harris, who hailed from a family of considerable English wealth. Susanna was the only child of John Opie and Harris, who had amassed a significant fortune through their business ventures and investments. Tragically, Susanna predeceased her father, leaving behind her husband, Robert Lindsay, and their son. As a result of Susanna's untimely passing, her considerable inheritance and wealth passed on to her grieving husband, becoming a substantial addition to the Lindsay family's holdings. This unexpected twist of fate solidified the Lindsay family's position in the realm of colonial prosperity and secured their prominence in the emerging society of Virginia. As the years went by, the Lindsay family flourished, with successive generations building upon the wealth and influence inherited from their illustrious forebearers. The Lindsays continued to play a significant role in the growth and development of the region, engaging in various enterprises and contributing to the economic and social fabric of Virginia. The legacy of Robert Lindsay's journey from Scotland to the shores of Virginia in the 1660s lives on in the Lindsay family's storied history, standing as a testament to their resilience, ambition, and the enduring impact of their ancestors' early endeavors in the New World. Today, the Lindsay family continues to honor their heritage and carry forward their legacy with pride, making them an integral part of Virginia's rich tapestry of history and tradition. During the American Revolution, the grandson and great-grandson of Robert, Colonel John M. Lindsay, and Captain James Lindsay decided to side with the Continental Army, allowing them to keep their fortune. The Roosevelt family of Manhattan has a rich and storied history, dating back to their arrival as colonists from the Netherlands in the 17th century. Over the years, they rose to prominence in both business and politics, becoming influential figures in American society. The family's legacy took root in two distinct branches, one hailing from Oyster Bay on Long Island, and the other from Hyde Park in Dutchess County. These two branches would go on to play pivotal roles in shaping the nation's political landscape. Theodore Roosevelt, a member of the Oyster Bay branch, rose to become the 26th President of the United States, serving from 1901 to 1909. His presidency was characterized by progressive reforms and a commitment to conservation. Theodore's charismatic leadership and dedication to the betterment of society earned him a lasting place in American history. On the other side of the family, Franklin D. Roosevelt, a member of the Hyde Park branch, became the 32nd President of the United States, serving an unprecedented 4 terms from 1933 to 1945. His presidency coincided with the challenges of the Great Depression and World War II. Franklin's visionary leadership and the implementation of the New Deal helped guide the nation through turbulent times. Interestingly, these two great leaders, Theodore and Franklin, were distant cousins, sharing a familial bond through their common ancestor, Klaus Martensen van Rosenvelt, who arrived in New Amsterdam, present-day New York City, in the mid-17th century. The Cabots arrived in Salem from the Isle of Jersey in 1700 and made fortunes in shipping. At the age of 21, Godfrey Lowell Cabot founded the Cabot Corporation, the largest producer of carbon black in the country. The Lowell family is descended from Boston colonists. Francis Cabot Lowell began their fortune in shipping and later textiles. The family has produced several noteworthy individuals, including Abbot Lawrence Lowell, who presided over Harvard for 24 years. The Forbes family of Boston made their fortune in the shipping and later railroad industries, as well as other investments. They have been a prominent, wealthy family in the United States for 200 years. The Astor family made their fortune in the 18th century through fur trading, real estate, the hotel industry, and other investments. The Harrisons of Virginia is an American political family of the Commonwealth of Virginia, whose direct descendants include a founding father of the United States, Benjamin Harrison V, and 3 U.S. presidents, William Henry Harrison, Benjamin Harrison, and Abraham Lincoln. 2 branches of the Virginia Harrison family with roots in northern England make up the majority of the population. Before 1633, a branch headed by Benjamin Harrison I traveled from Bermuda to Virginia through the James River, where they landed and rose to become prosperous planters. The James River Harrisons is a common name for them. Benjamin Fife, a signer of the Declaration of Independence and later governor of Virginia, was one of several generations of this branch that served in the colony of Virginia's legislature. In addition to another Virginia governor, Albertus Harrison, this branch of the Harrison family also gave birth to President William Henry Harrison, Benjamin V's son, and President Benjamin Harrison, William Henry's grandson. 2 mayors of Chicago, as well as representatives and senators from the United States, are also members of the family. The Hartwick family's lineage and wealth precede the American Revolution, and they are primarily of English and German descent. Military generals and statesmen have been produced by the Hartwick family, including Edward Hartwick. By the start of World War I, the family was in charge of the majority of the country's timber. The establishment of Hartwick College and Hartwick Pines State Park are examples of Hartwick's charitable contributions. Even if many old money people are no longer in the top 400 richest Americans according to Forbes, their wealth is still increasing. Through financial techniques like resource pooling, many families enhance their holdings. For instance, the estimated net wealth of the Rockefeller family increased from $1 billion in the 1930s to $8.5 billion in 2000. Without accounting for inflation. Without owning significant stakes in developing sectors, 4 of the wealthiest families in the country boosted their combined wealth from $2 to $4 billion in 1937 to $38 billion in 60 years. How do you feel about our video? Please provide your feedback in the box below. Please click the like button if you like the video. Also, before you leave, please subscribe to our channel.